My name Edmund Yakani, Executive Director of SEPO. I would like to take this opportunity to appreciate the meeting held between His Excellency President and Her Excellency Vice President and the Chairperson of Gender and Youth Cluster on the political situation in the country following the meeting of Her Excellency Vice President with the Excellency President of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, where they have discussed multiple issues that are associated with political affairs and development in South Sudan. That is very impressive. We know that that meeting have reached out with good decision, as we know that His Excellency President meeting with Her Excellency Mama Nyandeng, it is a critical meeting that they might have come out with critical decisions. As a civil society activist, as a watchdog, our appeal to our leaders at the level of the presidency that there's a need to hold a strategic dialogue on positioning the pathway for transitioning the country from violence to peace. We have seen now a lot of challenges towards how can we transition the situation from violence to peace, where we don't see a functional parliament, where the quorum is affected. We don't see Council of Ministers having regular meetings or the meeting of the presidency, but we are aware that our current leaders and His Excellency President still have a great opportunity of fixing the political pathway for us to transition from violence to peace. And the only viable option in front of us is now holding peaceful and credible election as scheduled for December 2026. But for us to hold the election in December 2026, we need to create a good enough condition for situation that will favor the holding of the elections. Right now, we can't talk about security when we have divided warring parties in the country. We can't talk about reconciliation and forgiveness or transitional justice in totality because we have political instability and armed violence going on in the country. Everything that we want to create as a good enough condition for creating an enabling environment for holding of the election by December 2026 requires some political decisions. And this political decision rests on the meeting of our leaders in an inclusive manner where also we as stakeholders are involved. So I'd like to appeal to His Excellency President with due respect and honor. We know his wisdom normally in such critical moments. I hope that the meeting of His Excellency President and Her Excellency Vice President Mama Nyandeng should act as a historical meeting, should act as a meeting of turning point. We are waiting to see an outcome of that meeting, as we have seen been published in the media outlets that it cover political situation, economical situation, promotion of peace in the country. The only viable way for South Sudan to walk away from the current political instability is holding elections in a conducive manner that every citizen have a trust and confidence that I'm going to vote for the leaders that I want to run the country right now. And elections act as a viable option for also creating a political stability that will give us a room for consolidating our efforts for making peace and security and stability to prevail in South Sudan. Right now, the focus should be towards holding a dialogue for discussing conditions that define a good enough conditions for holding of the elections and for fostering transitional justice and for ensuring that we have one unified security and defense sector that will respect civilians and will take responsibility for protection of civilians. In separate note, we would like to appreciate our army for stopping the airstrikes against the civilian population or the armed civilian population named as White Army. We believe violence never helps. The only way is dialogues. But also, we'd like to take this opportunity to strongly condemn the ongoing deadly armed communal violence in some parts of the country, and specifically in Tonj. And we'd like to urge His Excellency President to will ensure that safety and protection of our citizens in the region of Tonj in Warapi State should be taken as a priority by the national government, and this should be stopped. And similar incidents elsewhere also require the attention of His Excellency President. Peace and stability is the only ultimate goal that citizens want. We don't want a gun class that impose on us violence, and this violence resulted to growth human rights violation, to limiting our potentiality as citizens of South Sudan in nurturing societal growth and human development in South Sudan. We need to stop violence and resort to dialogue and make sure that peace and stability is our ultimate goal. Thank you very much.